I am hi. I'm recording this I'm going live on Facebook at the same time that I am recording on Google, so it can go to my YouTube channel as well. So if I'm looking at two different cameras every now and then, it looks like I'm looking up and down. That's why. I've got my things kind of configured here so that I can do two things at once. The power of technology, gotta love it. So good morning. I'm Angel, and maybe you're just now stumbling across my Facebook page for the first time, or you're seeing this notification and you're curious. So just like I've done several times, you're popping in. When did I start following this chick, and who is she, and what is she talking about? My name is Angel Balance, and I'm a mom of three, wife to Donald, and an online fitness coach, a virtual mompreneur, really. And so what my business is fitness, online fitness solutions. And I really kind of stumbled into this, but what I wanted to talk to you about today is this microwave mindset versus a crockpot course of action. Today in my online challenge groups, this is what we often call a Mindset Monday, and this was part of my assignment, was to create this Mindset Monday. So this is some things that were on my heart that I wanted to talk to you about. And hi, I have a couple of people jumping on Facebook, and so I'm going to make sure that I stay available for a few questions and answers. If you want to chat with me, then that's fine. But just sharing a few things that I believe are important as we are setting out on our health and fitness journey, starting new challenges, or even just the new of the month, even if it's not about fitness, even if it's whatever it is for you in life, is whatever that you're starting anew. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. Last night we were watching a movie, and we went to go pop in the popcorn in the microwave, and this is kind of where this microwave mindset versus crockpot mentality came to my mind, which is, we were getting ready to watch this movie as a family. We popped the popcorn in, and I started to realize that as we're waiting for the traditional like 3 minutes for that popcorn to finish popping, how quickly we have come accustomed to having that popcorn be ready quickly, and just like that, and how even impatient I was getting waiting for that popcorn to be ready so that we could go ahead and start our movie. And versus, go with me here, at the same time, I'm getting ready to watch this movie with my family. I've popped the popcorn in. I'm getting a little bit impatient that it's taking 3 minutes per bag to pop all the popcorn for everybody. That over in the back of my mind, right, I'm thinking about all the to-do lists that I have for today, and I'm reminding myself that my team has a crockpot group that is about to start. And so I start thinking about that difference between the microwave and the crockpot mentality-wise, right, that we have. And I don't know if you know very much about my story and how I even got involved in what I do now. But part of my story is I used to look for every solution out there to lose weight, like water weight pills, the hydroxycut, whatever those pills are called. I remember trying those out. My heart rate, getting all, beaten fast and everything, anything that I could do to try to burn fat, right? I remember Slim Fast. Remember Slim Fast shakes? I think they still sell those. I remember living by those things, and just realizing that when I was looking at that popcorn in the microwave, I started thinking about that time of my life and looking for the one and done solutions. And like I said, this could be to eat fitness and health. This could be for anything in life, right? I was looking for one and done solutions. I wanted to be able to just pop this pill or take this shake or do this one thing. And, I even went into this period of time where I was eating nothing but lettuce and apples and carrots. and not realizing what I was actually depriving my body of, and that I wouldn't, this was not meeting my needs, not really. But all I could think of is I want to quickly drop the weight. I want to quickly be accepted by this group of people, right? Whatever I had built up in my mind of why I was doing this, why I needed a quick solution to what it was that I wanted. Like, and oftentimes, yeah, I had waited till the last minute to try to hurry up and implement something. And the results were never quite what they could have been. So if you're thinking about, for example, between the microwave and the crock pot, right? If I was to try to cook a roast in a microwave, right? Or, a lot of times even just the foods that we do go to put in the microwave, they don't come out quite the quality that we would want it to come out with, right? I mean, they're good, but they're not great, right? They're not fully satisfying, usually, the palate, all the textures and the flavors and everything you were looking forward to that one thing for, but because we were impatient or because we just quickly wanted to satisfy that craving or that desire. And thank you to who is jumping on. Thank you for whoever else just jumped on. We, we just want to quickly satisfy that thing, right? So, versus when you are cooking something in that crock pot, okay, when you're making a really good roast, and I had recently had a friend share with me the rest of the crock pot roast that she's going to be cooking this week. I mean, there's some real thought going into that, into the flavors that you're putting together. I mean, you get your marinade perfect, right? I mean, you're thinking, I want a little bit of spice from my jalapeno. I want a little bit of tang from this vinegar that I'm going to put in here. If I add this element here, it's going to do this to the meat, right? We know it's going to make it more tender. We add something else to make it more juicy. We think, oh, we might need a little bit of salt, so we're going to put that in there. We take great care into all the different elements that we put into that crock pot with our main course or whatever, all the different ingredients to help create something wonderful and lasting, right? So that when there's leftovers, I mean, because we always want to make sure there's leftovers. When we make something good, we want to make sure that it's going to last for several days. Whereas if it's prepared in the microwave, usually it's not something you want to reheat it twice, right? So approaching our, as I'm talking to my challengers this week, approaching our fitness and our health efforts, our weight loss efforts, our physical fitness efforts with that same type of understanding between what a microwave mindset is and a crock pot course of action, we come to the understanding that what we're doing is we're building that something beautiful, right? Okay, and in order to create that whole picture, we have to get very clear about what it is that we want our end result to be. So let me and from when we start to think about what it is that we really want to see ourselves achieve over the next 21 days, over the next 30 days, over the next 60, 90 days, over the next 9 months to a year, or even a lifetime. So for me, for example, I had to graduate and then mindset, realizing that just dropping the one pill or just zap and I'm done, the one and done solutions were not going to work for me, not long term, because what I ultimately wanted when I came to this place in life, when I realized that what I wanted was a lasting lifestyle of solutions that I could pass on to my kids to learn from and live a long life themselves. And when I got very clear about what my priorities were, it made it easier in my day-to-day activities and decisions that I was making about what it was that I was preparing to put in my mouth, right? So, and speaking of the word prepare, Miss Shamika shared she shared a wonderful example of, we want to be prepared. We want to give God the time to prepare our hearts and our minds for what it is that we're saying that we're setting out to do. And by doing that, solutions come, real solutions come. And also, I would say the resilience and the persistence that I'm going to get it done no matter what, set in our hearts and our minds, right? So when that happens, when we have that mindset that, when we have a strong belief inside and we know we have that mindset that it doesn't matter what, I'm doing this. Certain things, certain priorities, certain things come to mind where we start to realize we see little fluff, we see little extras in our life that maybe have either distracted us from what we really want or are taking us away from what we really want, or it's not really necessary in order to get what we really want. So, for example, and this is a very simple example, but a very true example for me. I'm sipping on my coffee here while I'm talking to you. Y'all like my coffee cup? My husband got that for me. It says, "Hey, y'all." He teases me because I'm so country and I always say, "Hey, y'all," he says. Okay, so y'all, listen. So when I started with health and fitness, right? When I just started with trying to lose weight, we're trying to, get in a little bit more in shape so I could climb the stairs or run or whatever, right? Or play with my kids or have more energy, or lose a dress size. I was tired of, popping out of my size 14s and still being in a size 16 after having 3 babies, and thinking I should be smaller by now. I should have lost this weight by now. I shouldn't be yo-yoing back and forth, right? One of the first behaviors that I started to tackle was just simply I needed to get more water in my day. And that was inspired by a friend of mine, she was challenging us in our little private group how to get more water in my day. And that's, where I started for that particular part of my journey in my life, where health and fitness was concerned. So I started looking at my coffee routine and I was like, okay, how can I, if I'm reaching for my coffee like first thing in the morning, then how the heck am I going to get, how can I utilize this time, or how the heck am I going to get even more water in my day so I can meet my needs for water, right? So then I started challenging myself. I started filling up a cup, and this is, like I said, it's a very simple example and solution. I started filling up my cup every day and I'd say, okay, I'm going to drink at least 10 ounces of water before I allow myself that first cup of coffee. That was like, yeah, water's always a struggle. So, and that's what I was facing. I was realizing that I wasn't getting the water in my day. So I started looking at my day and started to recognize where there was this extra fluff or these little extra things that didn't, or these opportune times that, that I could carve something new out or add something new in, right? So so I started adding my water before drinking my coffee. Now, granted, I was still putting in the crappy, full, artificial flavored and full sugar creamers in my coffee. I was still going and buying Coffee Mate and International ID. I love the sweet cream. I wanted that sweet concoction every single morning. I wasn't yet ready to cut that out, but I just wanted to focus on one thing I could add in. And so I think sometimes that's very helpful when you're trying to, start something new. Sometimes you really just need to start with what's one thing I can add in. Then from there, I was able even more, because I started recognizing, but here's the thing. Water had become a non-negotiable in my life. I understood the importance of it. And I understood that just taking a water weight loss pill was not the solution. My one and done microwave popcorn solutions were not working for me. I needed a Crockpot course of action where I was adding one thing at a time and all the elements were going to come together. Water was one of the first elements, right, that I needed to add to. Then I needed to look at what I could take out. And that's when I started, but this was over a course of time that I started to realize, oh, now I can take out my creamer and start to substitute and find healthier solutions for my creamer. So I just started, what I'm trying to impress here is that I just started to learn how to get rid of the extra and the distractions. And I started to recognize what it was that was keeping me away from the very things that I was saying was priority to me. The very things that I started looking around in my life, and sometimes it was food and water and very things like that. Sometimes it was behaviors. So, you know, the coming home and you know, watching TV and you know, whatever it was, you know, I was saying this was important to me. But yet I wasn't accomplishing it. It wasn't happening. I had to see where it was I was missing something and start to recognize where are there some elements, some things that are keeping me away from the very things that I said that I want. And when I started to get very clear about what was it that I was envisioning for my life? What is that that, you know, I had to literally form a picture in my mind of what it was that I wanted my life to look at on the other side of this. When it got done cooking slow in the crock pot, and I pulled it out, what was it going to smell like? What was it going to look like? What was it going to taste like? Well, every single day. And you know, when I started to realize that, when I started to look at that, I realized that it was, you know, it's fun. It took some of the pressure off because I was able to look at the you know, one thing at a time that I could master in order to bring this lifestyle about, in order to make something really wonderfully tasty and beautiful and all those things. Okay, my analogies are over. But I had to get clear on my vision, and I had to get very clear on my priorities and what was important to me, and what priorities that I had been making that were lining up with my vision and the ones that were not lining up with my vision, right? So if health and fitness were important to me, where could I add to and where could I take out? And in order to actually produce the very thing that I was saying I wanted to produce. And you know, they say that, you know, ordinary people are doing extraordinary things every single day, but often it is the very simplest things, the very small, simple daily acts that when they're added up are the very solutions, and the very thing that is adding up to creating their success and creating that extraordinary thing that they accomplish. But it's those simple things that are so easy not to do. And I started to realize that it was those very things, those very simple little things that I had not been doing that was deterring me and keeping me away from the very thing that I truly wanted and said was a priority to me, right? Does everybody follow that? So if I was going to separate myself from the defeated mama, the one who lived with the belly that she didn't want and that insecure feeling or the less than confident in my clothes, and feeling defeated every day because I couldn't even accomplish this one thing that was important to me, then if I was going to separate the defeated mama from the successful one, the empowered one, the one that I saw in my mind, that I saw a picture of in my mind, and all of my kids around me also living out the very legacy that I had been living as an example for them. If I was going to separate out those two from each other, then I had to get clear on that picture in my mind of what she looked like, how she ate, what she did, and the words that she was speaking to herself and to her children, and what kind of groceries did she buy? What did she put in her coffee, right? And the things that she wouldn't do and she wouldn't say. But I had to get very clear on those very simple behaviors that would add up to that picture that I had in my mind. And then from there, I was able to see the ripple effect that that would have, and the lives that would touch, you know, that from there it was going to impact my husband and my kids and my friends and my family beyond my immediate family. That, you know, no matter whether they accepted me and what I was doing with open arms, the very fact that I was living it out was going to impact them. And that if that was, if I, and I did, I had a sense of purpose in it, that I was really supposed to do this thing, not just for me, but for them. Then it didn't matter if they accepted or rejected, or when on their own timetable of readiness that they accepted or rejected. The important thing was that I was living out what was important to me, what I had set as priority in my heart, that I felt was aligned with God's purpose for my life, right? And what he was showing me was the way to get these lasting results that I was saying that I wanted. And so, you know, I recognized that everything that I was doing, all those little steps, ultimately was all about moving forward. It was all about growth. It was all about continuing on and becoming a better me. And for me, that's the mess, you know, I guess what this Mindset Monday is really about. As I'm telling you to get your hearts and your minds ready for this week, for this month, and then the rest of the year and the rest of your life. You know, have that mindset that this is for long-term growth, that it's not just about a one and done, just give me my shake, just let me do my 30-minute workout. Those workouts alone are, by the way, are not going to be the solution. It's an added up lifestyle. It's making your choice one by one of every meal that goes in your mouth. It doesn't mean you have to be 100% perfect. God knows I am not. But more often than not, we are making those decisions that line up with our priorities. And from that, we reap the very rewards. So one, we have a vision. And yeah, God says, without vision, the people perish. And think about why that is. And then get very clear. The Bible says that we're supposed to write them down and write that vision down and make it plain, so that as people are on the run, as they pass by it, they can still do it. And so that's the same for our lives. As we're running, as we're doing our day in and our day out, our everyday life, we're able to, you know, if you got to post it on your fridge, post it on your fridge. I put my goals up on my fridge this month. But you know, if you got to put a note on in your car, you know, if you got to put it on your light switch, so every day you're seeing it. You got to write it in one word on a chalkboard, like I have in my little butler's pantry. I have a little phrase written, this one word for the year, that when I see it, it reminds me of that picture in my mind of the life that I want, the person that I want to create, and the very purpose behind every single one of my actions, so that it helps me make those decisions more easily, and to stop reaching for the one and dones, but to believe in the process, to be persistent, to be patient with myself and with this wonderful gift, this body that's been given to me, right? And so I got to close because I have a phone call at 11 o'clock, a meeting with a fellow coach that I have to make. And so I'm going to close with this. As a coach, we have what we call 4 vital behaviors. And one is to be proof that the products work. And this is very simple. It just means every day I'm pushing play. Every day I'm drinking my shake. Every day I'm eating nutritious foods. Every day I'm doing the very essential, simple behaviors that I know, when added up, create the life that I want. The solutions work. 2 is that I am sharing that with other people, that I'm inviting other people into it with me. And this, to me, really speaks to the growth and that ripple effect of, the ripple effect, that it's not just about me. It's about impacting the lives of other people. So whether or not you're a coach, it doesn't matter. Look if you're a mother, if you're a parent, if you're a sister, if you're a daughter, your impact matters. Create that ripple effect out of the decisions that you're making to live your everyday life. The third one being personal development, which is that growth piece. Even the Bible says, add to your faith. Okay, don't just have faith, add to your faith. Self-control, discipline, right? This when you're adding something to, and so growing yourself, growing your adding to your routine, words of affirmations, what you're saying out of your mouth, what you're putting in your ears, the very things that are going to continue to help build that vision on the inside of you, that picture of the life that you want. And then the fourth being recognition, meaning encourage others around you as you see them doing good, recognize them for their efforts, thank them for the roles that they play in your life and when they encourage you. And so that's why last night when I went live, it was important to me to make sure that, not just in my private messages that I was receiving from people encouraging me in that tough moment that I was having last night where I didn't feel like doing it. But because I had my why very strong in my head and I have made my workouts a non-negotiable because I understand that if I don't get them in, I feel weaker and it's less likely that I'm going to pick back up again if I let too much time pass without them. So it was important to me that as people were encouraging me in that moment, that I had made a positive decision for my health, and then also setting an example for my kids who were upstairs playing, but they knew mommy was down here working out, that I was saying thank you back and recognizing them, recognizing me, just, not to puff me up, but it helps me to know that even me just sharing my everyday life is serving as an example and encouragement to other people, because I think we all desire for what we do every day to have purpose and meaning and to add value to other people. And so that's it. That's all I really had for. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. And again, this is this is the very same video. I'm gonna put it up on my YouTube channel so that I can share that link over with my challenge group this morning. But I thought, why not share it with everyone who is following me on my like page and interested in what I do, and then also just how to start this fitness and health journey yourself. And so I hope that it is an encouragement to you. I'm going to stop the broadcast over here in the Google so I can follow up with them later, and I'll ask questions on Facebook Live. Okay, so bye guys, and get ready. This is going to be a great week in our challenge as we move forward, taking the word that Shamika shared with us this morning from her video last night, talking about how God wants to take the time to prepare our hearts. So as we spend time every day committed to our workouts and to our nutrition, we also want to make sure that we're dedicating committed time to spending time with Him and allowing Him to speak to us to prepare for this challenge and for what it is that we hope to get out of it moving forward. I love you all, and we'll talk very soon. Bye.